Ow! Ow. I'm okay. I think I'm okay. There's something about technology as it ages that gives it an inherently creepy vibe, particularly for the most recent generations. I think a lot of that has to do with how quickly tech seems to be changing as time goes on. New inventions and innovations are being spread at a rate faster than any other time in historical memory, and as old tools gather dust to make way for the new, the esoteric toys of days gone by take on a mysterious and sometimes haunting vibe. My best example of this would be the earliest days of the internet. I was a teenager when AOL took the world by storm, and the internet was a very different place in those days. If you think the government and the world at large are having trouble keeping up, you should have seen it in 1995, which was over 20 years ago, which I don't even want to think about. The point is, the internet was a far less traveled and regulated place in those days, and my memories of it have taken on a haunted and less than safe quality. This was when we were just starting to decide what the World Wide Web would be, and the sudden exposure to the uncensored universe at large could be exciting, but also frightening. In the world of Oxenfree, that esoteric technology is the radio. That's right, the buzzy little doodad that the entire world used for communication and entertainment before the first chat room was just a twinkle in some geek's eye. Oxenfree was released in January of 2016 and follows a group of teenagers as they spend the night on an abandoned island, attempting to unravel the mystery of the horrible things that happened there in years gone by. It's one part teenage horror and one part coming-of-age story, and it's disarming how effective the game is balancing the two. The beauty of the horror aspect comes from the aforementioned radios. As you travel the island searching for your lost friends, you use an old handheld radio in different and interesting ways. A certain station might be used to unlock a door or listen to a message that gives you some insight into the world around you. Another station, on the other hand, might be used to communicate with a dark and malevolent force that has its eye on possessing your bodies to enact some sort of sadistic revenge. And it is frightening. Possession and exorcism and that sort of thing have become something of a horror trope since The Exorcist, but Oxenfree does a brilliant job of examining the real helplessness and violation of such an event. The dark forces of the island play with your protagonists' heads, causing them to consider the world around them in violent, horrifying ways. This level of horror is made all the more impressive when you consider the fact that Oxenfree made me laugh on more than one occasion. The other side of the horror coin is a story about teenagers coming to terms with all the my so-called life-isms of being a senior in high school. Lost family members, finding your place in the world, and trying to impress the girl that you like are all major plot points in Oxenfree, and they don't feel out of place or foreign to the needs of the characters. It's not to suggest that the dialogue of the teens is incredibly realistic. It isn't. Quips and snarky jabs come at a rate that would make Second City furious with jealousy. And the insights and spoken thoughts of these characters makes them feel more like erudite adults with younger voices. But after witnessing dozens of disastrous attempts from film, television, and games at getting teen speak correct, I think we can all agree that the best thing to do is just create characters that we can relate to, which Oxenfree succeeds at. And that's not to suggest that there aren't tropes. We've got the outcast with the shady background, the bitchy girl, the smart-ass geek. They all make an appearance. But they're such likable and three-dimensional tropes that you really don't spend a lot of time worrying about it. Oxenfree plays like an adventure game with some interesting puzzle elements to it. And interestingly enough, it's the puzzles that were the only thing that left me lukewarm about the entire experience. Some of them are fun enough, but the vast majority come down to wiggling your thumbstick around in search of the right frequency, putting a bead on it when you find it, and repeating the process until the puzzle's done. Fortunately, none of it ventures into a territory that makes them aggressively difficult, so if puzzles aren't your thing, they won't hold you back from experiencing the rest of the story for terribly long. And that's the proper word for Oxenfree, I think. It's an experience. At around 4 hours of playtime, I put this one up there with Firewatch and Pony Island in terms of brief, satisfying indie stories. No one is arguing that 2016 hasn't been an amazing year for games, but if I had to put my finger on what is making it so great, it's experiences like Oxenfree.
Sneak a little bourbon past Porky, but you better not drink it slow. Sneak a little vodka past Wifey, Wifey don't have to know. Sneak a little whiskey past Mommy, make your sister never tell. Or sneak a little bottle past Pastor Paul, or else you'll go to hell. If Daddy don't sneak a little Drinky, Daddy gets sad and blue. Sneak a little Drinky, sneakity-doo. Sneak a little Drinky past you. Sneak a little Drinky, sneakity-doo. Sneak a little Drinky past you. Sneak a little Drinky, sneakity-doo. La-di-da-di-da-da-da.